Hello, people of the world. My name is Mario Rockers XD, and today I will be giving my opinions on every single one of the new Pokemon from the Paldea region. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet came out last month, and I figured that since I am kind of a YouTuber, I've done 2 Pokemon-related videos on my channel so far that weren't shorts. I thought that I would choose to do this. So we're going to start off with Sprigatito because it is the first Pokemon in the Paldea region Pokédex. Now, Sprigatito, I feel, is a cute, adorable grass-type starter, and I, like most people, were hoping that it would stay on 4 legs, and I was actually kind of disappointed that it didn't. Not because I myself wanted it to stay on 4 legs, but because I knew people would complain. However, speaking of which, Florigato. How do I feel about it? Well, I feel that Florigato, unlike Sprigatito, unlike Incineroar, Florigato and Yaskarada actually pull off the standing on 2 legs thing pretty good. I actually think that it is a cool evolution for Sprigatito. Yaskarada, however, is... yeah, this is the next Pokemon furry. Fuecoco. I was not impressed when I learned that we would not be getting a Pokemon from the Chinese Zodiac Wheel for our fire starter. I had a theory that maybe Fuecoco could evolve into a snake. I mean, it was possible. I mean, if a hedgehog can evolve into a badger, that's Cyndaquil in Typhlosion, then a snake can be evolved from a crocodile, but nope, I was wrong. And I have to say that Skeledirge was actually an extremely cool Pokemon. Before we get to that, Crocolore. Crocolore is our next Pokemon, and to me, it kind of looks a bit derpy. However, the sombrero nest thing on its head makes up for it. And Skeledirge is an absolute monster. It's awesome. And if I ever eventually get Scarlet and Violet, I'm most likely going to pick Fuecoco. But there is still one more starter, and that is Quaxly. Now, Quaxly reminds me a lot of Donald Duck. It's a duck with a blue hat-looking thingy. I love it. It looks like Donald Duck to me, and it's really making it difficult. I feel like choosing either Quaxly or Fuecoco. Now, Quaxwell, on the other hand, this thing is ugly. I hate this thing. It's ugly. Quaquaval is our next Pokemon, and this was actually the very first peacock Pokemon. Like, when it spreads out the thing on its tail, it looks like a peacock. This is our very first official peacock Pokemon. Ho-Oh kind of was a peacock, but not really. And I respect that we finally got a peacock. Lechonk! Lechonk is a tiny little pig that is beloved by many, and I love it. Oinkaloni. Yes, I am calling it Oinkaloni because baloney. It's obviously baloney. The male looks pretty depressed. However, the female looks nicer, I guess. I mean, they both look like they would be perfect evolutions for something like Lechonk. However, I'm pretty sure that's just me feeling that way because I like Lechonk a lot. Next up is our regional bugs. Tarantula is an interesting design for a Pokemon. I did not expect this. It's kind of cool, I guess. Spidops is nightmare fuel. I mean, if I saw this thing in my bedroom, I would burn the house down. But hey, I guess this is kind of our first official spider Pokemon with 8 legs. Because Ariados, Galvantula, and Araquanid didn't have 8 legs. They only had like 6 or 4. Next up is Nimble, our second bug line. Nimble looks like a pretty cute bug. It's small and it's a grasshopper. I mean, that's nice. Lokix, or Lokix, however you call it, is badass. That's a badass Pokemon. But the fact that it's bug dark type concerns me. Next up is our Pikachu clones. Palmy is adorable and chubby. I like that. Pomo, this is just Palmy, but it stood up. That's what everyone is saying, and it's actually true, though. Palmy just learned how to stand up, and boom, evolution. Palmot. Now, while Pomo and Palmot are the very first electric fighting types, typing that I've actually wanted for a while, it was kind of disappointing for me. Next up is Tandemaus. Tandemaus, this is a terrible design. Just 2 mice. However, I will say that the pattern, while you can't see it on my screen, the pattern on their torsos is unique because one of them looks like it's wearing a shirt and one of them looks like it's wearing pants. I mean, I'll try to zoom in without knocking the camera down. Yeah, no, you just can't see it. But it's there, trust me. And then, its evolution, Mousehold, it just adds children. You can have 1 or 2 children. This is definitely, no, this is not a good Pokemon design. I don't really like it. Fido is an adorable little puppy made out of bread. I mean, I love this thing. It's adorable. And Dash Bun takes it a step further. They baked the dough and made a bigger dog, and it's even fluffier, it looks like. I love it. This is a perfect evolution line. Our next Pokemon is Smoliv. Grass Normal is not that good of a typing, and however, Smoliv looks adorable, I'll say. And it looks kind of wimpy, which is hilarious, and it makes me want to go, like, protect it. Doliv, its evolution is something that will turn in, looks like something that will turn into the next waifu Pokemon as well. I'm not that big of a fan of that. Arboliva, now, while it evolves from Doliv, which looked like it could have become a waifu, this one doesn't really look like a waifu at all. So I'm glad they decided not to go that way. Next up is Squawkabilly. Now, Squawkabilly is a Pokemon that isn't really beloved by many. People seem to think that it's stupid. However, I, for one, think that Squawkabilly is a nice-looking Pokemon, and the fact that it can come in different plumages is also a neat touch. Oh yeah, by the way, I saw Squawkabilly along with Tandemaus and Knackley in one of the Pokemon trailers. It was in a map. I had no idea what they were called until now. Speaking of Knackley, that's our next Pokemon. Knackley looks like a Super Mario power-up, to be honest. It looks like some sort of rocky mushroom. Now, even though we already have a rock mushroom in Mario. But yeah, no, seriously, tell me, does this thing look like a Mario power-up or what? Knacklestack looks like something from Minecraft, to be honest. Pretty sure the entire Knackley line does. And, like, the thing that it reminds me the most of is probably the cow or the frog. Garganacl is a literal mountain made of salt, and I love it. It's awesome. This is a good Pokemon design. If you don't believe me, then there's something wrong with you. Next up is Carcaday, the split evolution between Armarouge and Ceruledge. It looks adorable, and the fact that it can turn into Armarouge and Ceruledge, who are some pretty amazing looking Pokemon, makes it even better. Armarouge is next, and it really makes me want to choose Scarlet over Violet, but however, that's what a lot of people choose Scarlet over Violet for, because of Ceruledge being not as cool as Armarouge. But I feel that Ceruledge does look cooler than Armarouge, which makes me lean towards Violet more. Our next Pokemon is Tadbulb. Tadbulb is kind of derpy, not gonna lie. But my brother loves frogs a lot, which kind of makes me like this thing a lot more. And Bellybolt, which is an actual frog, the fact that those gigantic eyes are fake is kind of disturbing to me, which makes me wonder, is this real eyes? Because they look a lot like nostrils. It concerns me. Like, if you don't believe me, what appears to be eyeballs are actually organs. Organs. For discharging the electricity generated by Bellybolt's belly button dynamo. By the way, if you don't know, Bellybolt comes from belly button and bolt, of course. Next up is one of the birds, Watchel. Now, Watchel is an electric flying type, which we don't get that much out of Pokemon. Usually they're electric flying types that are legendaries, or they're just Pokemon that we don't care about, like Oricorio. So I feel like this was a nice touch. And Kilowattrel takes it to a whole other level. It looks like a giant seagull, and I love that. Next up is Mastiff. This thing is ugly as frick. And Mabostiff. I mean, it looks better than Mastiff, to be honest. I prefer this thing over its pre-evolution. However, it still looks kind of ugly. And it's also kind of old. Next is Shroodle. Okay, look. I'm sorry. I don't care what you think. This thing is ridiculous. This thing is ridiculous. And Grafaiai, people are saying, is the knockoff version of Smeargle. However, I feel like it's more of an upgrade. Smeargle was not that good of a Pokemon. And Grafaiai, being based off of an eye, which means that it's doing the middle finger when it paints, is hilarious to me. I love this thing. This is definitely an upgrade to Smeargle. This is definitely better. Bramblin. What even is this supposed to be? I mean, I know it's a tumbleweed. But this thing it's just not for me. And Bramblegast, it just got bigger, and it has a smile now. These things make me uncomfortable. Toadstool and Toadscruel. While I haven't played the games, I love how Toadscruel just walks around like it's panicking, like, oh god, I forgot my kid's birthday party again. Ah, shit. And the fact that they made it a mushroom is also interesting. It also kind of reminds me of what Apolloday and Tentacool. Why? It's just... Okay, Toadstool is just stuck in my head that I've completely forgotten what Tentacool is. And Toadscruel, now I don't know if this thing walks funny as well. However, it does look like an alternate form of Tentacruel, which is nice. I love how they made the mushrooms. That's kind of clever. Cloth. This thing is goofy, and it's a giant crab, and I love it. And this is also one of the Titan Pokemon, along with Bombardier, Orthworm, Great Tusk, and Iron Tusk, I believe. It's Iron Tusk, right? I mean, we'll see eventually. Yeah, no, Cloth looks goofy and ridiculous, and the fact that its eyes can turn all the way around 360 is kind of disturbing, but I like it because it looks like a goof. It's a derp. Next up is Capsicid. It looks like an ugly baby. Like an ugly baby dragon. Next up, our very first grass fire type is Scavillain. I don't care what people say. I don't care if people think it's ugly. I like this thing. This is a nice idea. A two-headed pepper is an awesome idea for a pepper Pokemon. And the fact that it's grass fire type because of peppers being hot is even better. I love this. Next up is Rellor. To be honest, its face kind of reminds me of Luigi. And the fact that we finally got a Dung Beetle Pokemon is a bit strange. Especially since we haven't had one yet. However, Rabsca's on a whole other level. They turned the poop into a giant psychic ball, and the bug is now floating and it's blue. Also, it now reminds me of Toadsworth. I swear, there are so many things in Pokemon that are reminding me of Mario stuff. I mean, first we got Nacli that looks like a power-up, and now we've got Reller and Rabsca looking like this. Next is Flittle, which is... It doesn't even look like anything. It looks like nothing. Like, if somebody told me that this turned into an ostrich, I wouldn't believe them. But no, that's actually what happened. It turns into a Spathra, which is our first official ostrich Pokemon. I mean, I guess you can argue that Doduo and Dodrio are ostriches, but they don't really look like ostriches to me. Anyways, I think that this thing is a nice take on a psychic type, and the fact that it's not flying type makes sense because ostriches can't fly. So I like that they added that detail. Tinkatink. This thing looks like a spoiled brat. I like it. Tinkatuff. Okay, so Wigglytuff and Tinkatuff. Wow. So not only is wiggling tough, but so is tinking. What does tink mean? And now, Tinkaton. The fact that it makes its hammer out of the bones of Corviknight is disturbing because I have a Corviknight on my team in Pokemon Sword. Wiglet. A lot of people seem to not like Wiglet because it's just another Diglett. However, I like Diglett as a Pokemon, and I like Wiglet. I don't care what other people think about it. Wiglet is nice. Wiglet's cool with me. Wugtrio, however, it's inside of a rock. How does it move? What? Does it just wait for a trainer to catch it and then it can finally move whenever it comes out of its Pokeball? I mean, I haven't seen it move because I haven't played the games. I don't know how Wugtrio would move. I mean, sure as heck isn't gonna hop around because then we might have a chance at seeing what's underneath it, and that's supposed to be a mystery. I don't think I'll ever know. Bombardier, one of the Titan Pokemon. This is an evil stork that drops things on you. I mean, you can tell it's evil because it's dark type. They even added the, blanket thing around its neck to carry things, and that is actually pretty smart, not gonna lie. Next up is Finizen. This is exactly what I expected from a dolphin Pokemon, and I like it a lot. This is a perfect dolphin for us. However, Palafin, in its zero form, is literally just exactly... Palafin is just Finizen with a heart on its chest. And in its hero form, it looks much better. It looks much better. It also kind of reminds me of an orca. Don't ask me why, I just kind of think of it. Next is Varoom and Revavroom. Varoom looks too much like an engine to me. Like a rock engine. An engine made out of rocks. It's weird. Also, what is this category? Single Sile? What does this say? What does this say? And Revavroom, I actually noticed that Revavroom was the thing that Team Star was using their truck on. Also, once again, multi-sile? Is this supposed to say cycle? Is this supposed to say cycle? Yeah, no, this thing is also kind of goofy, and I know that it has a tongue. It's not in this image, but it has a tongue. Cyclizar, the non-legendary that should have become like a split evolution to the legendaries. I don't know. This is definitely a bit strange. I mean, it also took me a while to figure out that it's supposed to be a motorcycle lizard. Motorcycle lizard. Cyclizard. You get it. And I noticed that they even added like a seat on the back, which is also kind of cool. Orthworm, one of many Titan Pokemon. Well, not actually many. This thing is... part of me thinks that it's a good idea, but another part of me thinks it also looks derpy like cloth. And the steel typing doesn't really make much sense to me, but maybe it will after I play the games. Now, next up is Glimmet. I forgot this thing even existed when making this video, because it's just not a very memorable Pokemon, and neither is Glamora. I mean, what are these things even supposed to be? I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be flowers or something, but they look like tranquilizer darts to me. I mean, that's just me though. Greavard. Now, I watched the original trailer that revealed Greavard, and in the trailer, I didn't even realize that the girl had died, which means that Greavard actually is kind of a creepy Pokemon. However, it is a dog, and it looks cute to me, kind of. I mean, however, a part of me also thinks that they just turned Litwick into a dog. Respectable. Houndstone looks like something that's actually dead. It turned into a skeleton. Flamigo, I mean, the fact that its fighting type didn't make much sense to me before I realized that its body is kind of like a boxing glove, which is kind of smart. And the name Flamingo, Amigo, on point. They nailed it with the names here. I mean, Fido, that was awesome. Next up is Titan's pre-evolution, Citadel, that turned its goofy smile into something cute. I love this thing. I must protect it at all costs. Look at him! And Titan, I have no idea if this is supposed to be like some sort of a narwhal thingy. That's what people are saying, but I don't know if I should believe them. Nonetheless, it is a nice looking, sturdy, gigantic Pokemon. Veluza is something that I have no idea if it's supposed to be a barracuda. It most likely is. But part of me also is getting like swordfish, sailfish, marlin vibes. Don Dozo, the gigantic catfish thingy. Also one of the Titan Pokemon. Dondozo looks interesting, and I did learn that after you catch the Titan Dondozo, you can't go back and fight another one, and it's replaced with Tatsugiri. Speaking of which, Tatsugiri has 3 forms. However, I think that the droopy form is weird, the stretchy form is nice, and the curly form is probably the best in my opinion. However, one of the shiny for the stretchy form is orange, just like the curly form, so that's not really a good thing to me. Next is Annihilape. Annihilape is the evolution of Primeape, and let me just say, this thing, the fact that one of Primeape's Pokedex entries is that it dies as a result of being too angry, and that this thing is a ghost type, makes me wonder, do I have to kill my Primeape to evolve this thing? Next is Clodsire, the evolution of Galarian Wooper. Galarian Wooper, by the way, is adorable. I love it. Now, Clodsire is the spiny fish Pokemon. However, I don't see any spines anywhere, so that makes me question why it's called spiny fish. Anyways, Clodsire looks derpy just like Quagsire, and that is something that I respect. Farigiraf is a perfect evolution for Girafarig. It took the tail and made it into a hoodie. It added extra horns, and it even grew a taller neck. This is a perfect evolution for Girafarig. Then we got the Dunsparce. The Dunsparce is a disappointing Pokemon for some people. However, for me, I like it. This is a good evolution for Dunsparce. Making it a bit bigger, adding extra details. I like it. Also, there is 0 difference between 2 segment and 3 segment. Just so you know. King Gambit, the evolution to Bisharp that we didn't really need, but we got anyway, looks kind of frightening, not gonna lie. Looks like this is the thing that I will see in my nightmares and will wake up seeing it next to my bed ready to kill me. Next up, we've got some Paradox Pokemon. First up, we have Great Tusk. This is another one of the Titan Pokemon, by the way. Now, this is just an image from the game, so you can't see the full thing. However, there are lots of different kinds of images that you can see of Great Tusk. And people prefer this thing over Iron Tusk for very necessary means. It's a good idea to do that. Next is Screamtail. Now, I don't really like the fact that they just took the descriptions of the Pokemon and made that their names. It's weird to me. Also, the fact that the Paradox Pokemon in Scarlet don't have genders is strange to me as well. I mean, the ones in Violet make sense because they're robots and stuff, but the Scarlet ones don't make sense to me. Anyways, Screamtail, it doesn't even have a tail. Is this thing supposed to be a tail? I'm pretty sure this is what they mean by tail. And the fact that it's Screamtail makes me think, is it called Screamtail because of the move Sing, and that's something that Jigglypuff uses often? I don't know. I haven't played the games yet, which means I haven't seen their Pokedex entries, but I will be sure to see them. The only one that I've seen is Bellibolt. Next is Brute Bonnet. Amogus. Bum 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 bum. Ba-da-da. Bum bum. Fluttermane is the next one. Fluttermane, it looks like Misdreavus grew longer hair? I mean, I guess it is supposed to be a mane because it's called Fluttermane, revealing that it's supposed to be a mane, but I don't know if it is an actual mane. Wow, this is my longest video ever. I'm almost at 30 minutes, and it's going to be over 30 minutes, that means. See, look at that. It just hit 30. Next is Slitherwing. This thing looks terrifying for Volcarona. And I actually prefer... I'm pretty sure that I'm going to prefer the future Volcarona over this one. This one looks terrifying. Sandy Shocks is a nice concept for Magneton. However... No, get me out of search, get me out of search, get me out of search, get me out. Okay, so yeah. I don't see why there's magnets back then, but I mean, I don't really know that much about back then, so I don't really know if there's magnets or not. Also, the fact that they have... What? Like, is that supposed to be hair? Or some sort of black sand? Or something? Hold on, I'm gonna find out. Okay, so yeah, no, it doesn't tell me. Next is Iron Treads. That's what it was. It's not Iron Tusk. Iron Treads. I'm pretty sure that I prefer Great Tusk over this thing because this thing looks ugly. And they took the trunk and they didn't make it part of the face, which means it's not a trunk anymore. It's like some sort of weird tail coming out of his ass. And his face looks terrifying. And the fact that this is part of the game footage and not the actual image, it really lets you see how ugly it looks. Next is Iron Bundle. Now, one of the main gimmicks of the Paradox Pokemon in the future, aka Violet, they're all just robotic versions. Which doesn't really make any sense to me because you can't turn a Pokemon into a robot unless it's an actual robot, like Magneton or Metagross or even Klefki to some extent. However, Iron Bundle, I like that they added the feet to look more like skis. And for some reason, the Iron Bundle on the back, get it, looks a lot like a soda bubble filled with water to me. I mean, I guess that Iron Bundle is adorable, kind of. Iron Hands is kind of unique because its hands float instead of being attached to something, and it's not just a robotic version of Hariyama. It's not just that. Iron Jugulus. This is, to be honest, kind of lame. It's a bit lame. Iron Moth. I prefer this over Slitherwing any day. And the fact that the wings come off of it, that's cool. And apparently I heard that Pokemon can sleep in this game, and when this thing goes to sleep, these turn gray. Meaning that they turn, like, off. Which is a cool feature that they added, which means that maybe there are more Pokemon from the future that are robots that turn off or something like that. I don't know. Iron Thorns. This is Mechagodzilla. Yes, I know, this is a recurring joke for Iron Thorns recently. However, this is, I mean, it looks cool for a robotic Tyranitar, if you ask me. I like this thing. Frigibax. Our pseudo-legends. This is adorable. It looks kind of like some sort of cross between Trico, Cubchoo, and a very confused Timepole to me. I don't know, that's just me. Arctibax, our pseudo-legend second form. It's interesting as well. It's kind of giving me Spinosaurus vibes and makes me think that this should have been the fossil Pokemon, but who am I to judge? I mean, that's actually kind of what I'm doing this entire video. Baxcalibur, the final evolution for our pseudo-legendary. It gives me full Spinosaurus vibes and kind of Tyranitar vibes as well, not gonna lie. This is a nice pseudo-legendary, and it's Dragon Ice type. That could be pretty overpowered. Next is Gimmighoul. Now, Gimmighoul is strange. It lives inside of a treasure chest, and when it doesn't, it just carries a random coin with it. Also, in its different forms, it's called a different thing. It's coin chest or it's coin hunter. Which one is it? Which one is it? And now, Goldango, our 1000th Pokemon. Goldango looks cool. Not, like, to be honest, this thing is amazing. And the fact that it can surf on coins is also amazing. Now, however, Gimmighoul made more sense to be ghost type than Goldango did. Now our non-box art legendaries, but are still legendaries. First up, Wo Chen, this gigantic snail. I don't really know the lore behind the treasures of ruin. I don't really know yet. However, I do know that Wo Chen looks like a gigantic sluggish snail, made out of leaves that's old. I'm pretty sure that all of them are supposed to be very old. And I'm pretty sure that I like Wo Chen, but that's probably just because it's a snail. Now, Shen Po is our next one. It looks like a saber-toothed tiger, something that we didn't really have until now. I mean, except for maybe Raikou. And this one is ice type, which kind of makes sense because the saber-toothed tiger was found in the Ice Age. And its teeth are swords, which seem extremely painful. And to be honest, it kind of looks a little bit like a weasel. Ting Lu. What the frick is this? And Chi Yu, our final of the Treasures of Ruin. Chi Yu. It's a goldfish. And its eyes look like they're surrounded by other fish. It's adorable. Next up is our last of the Scarlet Paradox Pokemon. Roaring Moon. Roaring Moon is one of those Pokemon that looked like they were going to be bad, like Mega Salamence, and yet turned out awesome. This is an amazing Paradox Pokemon. I give this a 10 out of 10. And Iron Valiant, the last of the Violet Paradox Pokemon, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be Gallade. However, it also kind of gives me Gardevoir vibes. Like, if you look at the back, it's got like the weird dress, and its face looks like Gardevoir. It's even got the hair. However, it's also got the blades of Gallade, and it's also got the crest thingy, and like the booty. I don't know. I mean, hopefully people don't make any rules before this. It's genderless. Don't make porn of the Pokemon if it's a genderless robot. And finally, Koraidon and Miraidon. Koraidon and Miraidon are the box legendaries. Now, I, for one, prefer Miraidon, which also kind of leads to me, like, wanting to get Violet more. And Koraidon, however, still does look awesome, as most people say. I like Koraidon a lot. And Miraidon, a lot of people were saying that in the revealing of them when they're standing on the cliff from the backside, it looks like a penis. I noticed that as well. A lot of people have been saying that. But I like Miraidon even more than Koraidon. However, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. But yeah, no, it's made out of electricity, and it's a gigantic dragon motorcycle, and it's even got some robotic features. It's even got like turbines. Is that what you call them on the feet? Where they like shoot fire, like a jet or something. I don't know, but yeah, no, this is nice. I like this thing. This is a cool thing. And there we go. That is my opinion on every single Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet. I will be, this is pretty long video. This is my longest video yet. And anyways, I hope that you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you next time. Goodbye, people of the world. Lights are on. What the